Good morning, Em. How's it going?
Uh, well, Craig, it's been a big couple of days, but it just got bigger with whatever it is you've just put on my screen.
Well, today actually, I was going to show how I built myself a meditation app for my phone in like an hour last night, and then lead that to discussion of the future of apps and smartphones. And yes, this is an AI generated video. Let me press play on the video. Asking, yes, for a robot to meditate. So there you go, hey?
Oh,
Yeah. So,
no,
uh,
it's
so
like on so many levels.
well, I've been in IT a little while,
It's
and
cool. Like you got to admit the graphics are like exceptional quality. What did you use?
I use the tool that I use for editing these podcasts, which has a lot of AI. It's called Descript, but in the background, I think that was using. I can't remember. Well, it's got a selection, a whole bunch of models, whatever was set for default, and I asked it to, yeah, because I did the meditation app. Asked it, let's have a robot meditating
Yeah.
in the Himalayas in a temple, and that's what it came up with some audio as well.
This is what I'm learning with your prompt is like the more specific and brief you are, the more likely it is you're going to get your vision. However, I feel like that was not relaxing for me. It was interesting, but the sound was not relaxing. I wouldn't have chosen a robot.
No, well,
Chosen maybe a small fluffy hamster. Why
I wasn't trying to relax
why was
you.
it sitting
I
on a
was
suitcase?
I was trying to generate something that was just a combination of all the topics that I was trying to bring today. So that I wasn't trying to relax you. I'm sorry. Uh,
Eh. Look, it was pretty cool. Like, it's pretty cool to look at, but I think we've got to come back to what purpose is all of this serving.
so one of the things I've seen in technology in general over many years is that things that everyone's doing the same as, like everybody's got the same problems. Eventually, they get solved for everybody, and so. I've worked in cloud computing at Amazon for
Everybody in a first world corporate or capitalist context, there's probably some people like in the upper mountains of a country I can't think of right now that aren't having their problem solved.
well, if you think about cloud computing is the example I used when it said, well, everybody's building data centers and servers. Maybe there's a way of providing a utility-based way of doing that, and that's where cloud computing came. So everyone could have access to servers without having to wire them and mount the servers and get the power and the air conditioning and all that, because it was a common problem that everyone had. And I think this
Mm.
is my thing with apps on phones is
Yeah.
that a lot of the apps on phones are actually. And I look at how I use my phone, and I hate my smartphone. I used to love it. Now it's just like an annoying thing, and I use it for podcasts,
Mm.
and, and I use it for meditation and a few other things, messaging and all that. But a lot of that just base functionality. And I thought, could I just create a meditation app? And the thing was, I was using this meditation app, and it kept asking me to log in, and it wanted my
Oh, no, no,
contact
no.
information, and it wanted me to share, and it wanted me that. And I go, no, I just want something that chimes at the start, the
Uh,
end, and a few chimes in the middle.
oh,
And
shout out to the Calm app where I can do that. You can choose. I've found that they've been pretty consistently from inception a really high quality app.
well, do you
No
want to see the
affiliate.
low quality app that I created in?
Yeah, definitely.
So if I let me, can you see this? Sorry, it's a little bit
Yeah,
codey.
I can see it.
Yeah. So for my personal stuff, I use Claude for coding and also for research and stuff. At work,
Mm.
I use Amazon Kiro and QuickSuite, which is just launched. But for this, if you can see the little bit that's written up the top, it said create a simple meditation timer app, and this is what I wanted to be able to do. And that was what I did yesterday afternoon. And I was just curious about how long it would take to build. And I built this in about 15 minutes. And as you can see, it created a to-do list. And then this is writing the software to do
That
it.
is. Oh, wow.
And you can see it's just going through the items one at a time. As there's some tech stuff here, but I think this is a sort of a not a bad interface. And it just went through the list one at a time. And then there was a little bit later, I said, oh, actually, I want to run this on my phone.
Mm.
So this is the next bit I wrote here. Can you help me take this simple app and make it available on my Graphene OS Google Pixel 9 Pro phone? And it decided to do it with a progressive web app. And so this is a way of basically creating simple applications and making them available on your phone. And I've made all this public too. So if there's a site called GitHub where a lot of people share code, and I'll share this in the links afterwards. But if you go to my GitHub and CC test, you can actually see that it's this is I didn't write any code at all. This is all written by AI, and it's even the instructions here on how to get started have been written with it. So you want to see what it actually created?
Yeah, definitely.
So in any case, I managed this morning to get my phone connected to the computer. Let me see if I can. So hopefully you can see my phone.
Yep, you can see it.
Yeah, wow. The technology is really working. And you can see that meditate.
Mhm.
So this was basically by pointing it at a GitHub Pages site and then just basically saying install this as a progressive web app. And I click on this. And this is what I created in.
That's
And
quite nice looking as well, isn't it?
well, the initial one was really poor, and if I didn't show you the instructions, but in the middle I said I'll make it look kind of woody and zen, and it came back with this, and that's my usual meditation time. So a little bit of meditation brag there. Um,
You flexing.
so it's all set up for me, but it's got the different sounds as well. I can go test. Fail.
No,
I'll edit that bit out.
leave it in. Um,
If I go
what's
test,
interesting is how I
yeah.
just keep coming back to the idea of two thoughts. Tech has to serve a purpose for humans, otherwise it's pointless. And we, as the creators of tech, or use the creative tech, need to be considerate of what the right questions are to get the right outcome. Are you following this situation with Deloitte? Like everyone
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yep.
on the planet is. And one of the thoughts I was having listening to the academics talk about it was, what were they doing publishing an academic paper in the first place when what Deloitte was hired to do is actually an analysis of code? The team that they hired and then the tech that they utilized wasn't fit for purpose. It was supposed to be an analysis. What they were contracted to do was an analysis of the code that had not that had caused a whole bunch of problems, not actually publish an academic paper on it. And somewhere along the line, the wrong command was given, and then AI was implemented, and it was pointed in a direction to do what it was told to do. But the initial command was incorrect, so the end result didn't serve the purpose it was supposed to serve.
Yeah, and look, I'm not across the details of it, but I suppose having
You
my
know me, I can't just listen. I can't just read a news story and then just go, "Oh, that's nice." I've got to go deep and listen to every
well,
podcast. News.
like I am curious to learn more, but I have found that as you experiment with these tools, there are if well, I personally have made a few mistakes along the way where I've had to go back and remediate,
Yeah, the
and
prompting is really important because
learning to use the tools. It's learning to use the tools, and these are brand new tools, and there's going to be a few mistakes along the way, especially if people are using them all the time.
I think that's going to be one of the next things when universities or schools, for example, try to keep up with tech. There's going to have to be a whole subject on prompting.
Well, yeah, I think uh, especially the example I had, we used to say learn to code. And I think a lot of the code, there's some speculation, and I don't like to predict the future because the future is very hard to predict. But a lot of coding is going to be done with natural language. So it'll be more important to be able to think in systems,
Mm.
think creatively about how to use systems to solve problems. There will still be some need to understand code, I imagine, but it's and as we move to a thing where people can create their own code, then it's going to be there's going to be a lot of what would say ephemeral code. So if I look at the app that I created, that
Mm,
was created in 2 hours.
mm.
An app like that would have taken a few weeks to create not that long ago. And if I roll that forward and think, well, we're going to get to a point where I have a problem, and AI is going to create the app to solve the problem ephemerally on the fly, and
Mm.
then that bit of software is either going to be um, removed, or it's going to go into the library, and next time somebody asks for the same thing, it'll be pulled up. And so this is why I think with smartphones, the whole idea of apps starts to go away, and we have a device that we say it's like a personal assistant. I have a problem I want to solve. I want to tune my guitar, and it doesn't.
Well, in
I
theory,
don't.
that's what Siri's meant to do, but she won't talk to me when I'm driving, which is exactly when I need her.
Wow, Siri,
No good.
disagreeable.
She and I have been having a lot of disagreements lately because she keeps chiming in when I'm not speaking to her, but she won't speak to me when I'm driving. She's like, I can't tell you that while you're driving. And I think it's because she can't shift between the apps. There's certain apps that if the car's linked to the phone, she's not allowed to be enabled.
um,
The other
it,
thing is with
okay,
the creation of apps at that pace, you've got to wonder what the vulnerabilities is it's creating for us in terms of tech security, which is something
yes,
in the back of my mind.
yeah, I think uh, AI and security have kind of, it creates more vulnerabilities potentially, but at the same time, it also creates the methods in which you can address those vulnerabilities.
It's a different kind of logic, isn't it? There's an experiment that was done a long time ago now where, IQ has become the acceptable way of assessing intelligence. But when they first started rolling out IQ tests in the States, they noticed that kids that were white were performing better than kids from Black and Hispanic communities. But as these programs started to introduce computers into those communities where kids from Black and Hispanic communities were getting education around computers and access to computers and then increasing use of computers, their IQ increased. And I wouldn't say that they were any less intelligent than the white kids. I would just say that the logic that they were using shifted as they started to interact with computers and computing software. And so and IQ tests use the same kind of logic or as computers used to. And so it was just about getting their minds thinking in the same way. And so there's some kind of interwoven link between the tech that we're creating and the logic that we're using and the way that we're measuring intelligence. And I think what's going to go overlooked in a way that's problematic is the emotional intelligence and the human intelligence or the spiritual intelligence that the human component of that. So we're putting so much value on the logic used for creating these systems that will drive machines and be productive and creative in that regard that we're losing our ability to connect with ourselves and connect with each other. And that's why we're also seeing an increase in anxiety and depression. Because I would say that, I jokingly texted you this morning, I'm a human puddle, but I am concerned with the level of productivity being out of balance with the amount of time humans need just to equilibrate. Is our time connecting at being undermined at the expense of productivity? And what purpose does all of this serve?
It is a big question. Like going back to the IQ test, it's like I believe that all humans are born with a natural curiosity and seek out explanations about how the world works. And I think having access on one hand to AI with this broad knowledge of lots and lots of human history and education going to feed that curiosity, but at the same times, it's been built with certain beliefs and systems and things like IQ tests behind it,
Mm.
which at the same time is going to channel that curiosity into more predictable paths. And you and I both, I got asked actually last week by a senior leader, where does creativity fit into this? And where is AI just a remix? Sorry, is creativity just remixing old ideas, or is it bigger than that? And I said, well, I believe it's bigger than just remixing ideas. That you pull inspiration from many different things, and sometimes you're not sure where that inspiration comes from. Uh, and yeah, the human element in all of that is definitely important. I think we have to do a future session on productivity, maybe a big building a better geek session.
Yeah, I think so. Look, we're going to wrap there. My takeaway from all of this, and I keep circling back to this, is that there has to be some awareness about what the end purpose is. In any time that we're utilizing AI, I think it's important for us to ask who is the end user here and what is the ultimate goal in terms of our utilization of this technology. And so we must learn to ask the right questions, and then that will also lead us to giving the most appropriate prompts. Because I wonder as well, just as an afterthought, if we're going to start thinking about waste in terms of using AI for things that are wasteful, the same way we do with plastic wrapping on food and keep cups and things one day, I wonder if one day we'll start to develop an awareness of how the tech is actually costing the earth something.
It's an even bigger question, and I think it's really interesting. I saw some interesting analysis, and this is maybe the one thing I learnt over the week is that Anglo-Western countries are the most pessimistic in several studies about AI, and so that says something a little bit about our cultural element to this as well, compared to especially non-English and East Asian countries tend to be really bullish on this technology, and I'd love to dive into why that is as well.
Well, I wonder if there's a correlation in terms of pessimism and also how much waste those countries are creating. Like maybe we're more conservative, but we also create less waste. I don't know.
I'll share the research with you. Maybe we can chat about it next week or something. But fascinating stuff.
Lovely. Good to chat, mate. I'll speak to you
Yeah.
soon. Bye.